In the damp chill of March 634, Emperor Heraclius stood by a towering window in Constantinople, his palm pressed against the cold stone as he watched the morning pulse of the city below. To the world, he was a titan who had humbled the Persians and restored the true cross to Jerusalem, but the reports trembling in his hand told a different story. At the small oasis of Dasin near Gaza, a Roman legion, the iron fist of the civilized world, had been shattered by desert nomads. To Heraclius, the Arabs were little more than pickpockets of the sands, unsophisticated raiders who bickered over goats and sheep. But these were no petty thieves. United under the banner of Islam, they had become a gale force wind, an organized machine driven by a strategic mandate from Medina, the conquest of Syria. Hundreds of miles away in the Prophet's Mosque in Medina, a very different leader bore the weight of this burgeoning empire. Umar ibn Khattab, the second caliph, was a man who despised the very gold Heraclius wore. Stout, resolute, and dressed in wool garments patched with leather, Umar was a leader who feared only God and the prospect of a single hungry dog dying on the banks of the Euphrates under his watch. Surrounded by the giants of the Sahaba, Ali, Uthman, and Abdurrahman bin Auf, Umar read the dispatches from the front. The news was electric. Khalid bin Walid, the sword of Allah, had performed a miracle of logistics, racing across the waterless desert with 9,000 veterans to join the fray. On July 30th, 634, the collision occurred. At Ajnadain, 32,000 Muslims fell upon 90,000 Romans. When the dust settled, 50,000 Roman soldiers lay dead, their command structure erased. The momentum was unstoppable. Within weeks, Damascus, the jewel of the East, fell after a daring night raid. Khalid had scaled the city's most impregnable walls during a local festival, his elite guard dropping into the city like shadows to throw open the gates from the inside. But Heraclius was a military genius who refused to break. By December 635, the emperor sat in the dark, staring at a map bleeding red marks of lost cities: Emesa, Gaza, Beirut, Sidon. Every move he made was strategically perfect, yet every engagement ended in a Roman funeral. Desperate, he reached into the furthest corners of his empire, scraping together a staggering juggernaut of 150,000 men under the command of Mahan, king of Armenia. By July 636, the air at the Prophet's Mosque was thick with tension. Umar and his council debated the impossible. A Roman force of nearly 150,000 was bearing down on their scattered divisions. The choice was simple: retreat to the safety of the deep desert, or gamble the entire future of Islam on a single field. Khalid's letter arrived with a soldier's clarity. They would stand and fight. The Muslim divisions beat a tactical retreat, abandoning their hard-won cities to converge on the scrubby, windswept plains of Yarmouk. Yarmouk became the graveyard of an empire. For 6 grueling days in August, the world held its breath. The Romans brought professional legions, heavy cavalry, and numbers that should have guaranteed victory. The Muslims brought 40,000 men who viewed death as a homecoming. Mahan came within a hair's breadth of breaking the Muslim lines several times, but Khalid's mobile guard lunged into the gaps, stitching the defense back together with steel and blood. On the 6th day, Khalid transitioned from a shield to a sword. In a brilliant maneuver, he wiped the Roman army off the map. Mahan fled, only to be cut down on the road to Damascus. The Roman military machine in the east simply ceased to exist. By September 637, the tragedy reached its finale. Heraclius, a broken shadow of the man who had once saved the empire, led a retreating column toward the Cilician gates of the Taurus Mountains. As he reached the pass that would take him forever out of the land he loved, he reined in his horse. He looked back at the rolling hills and ancient cities of Syria one last time. His voice, heavy with the realization that an era had ended, drifted over the mountain path. Salutations to thee, O Syria, and farewell from one who departs. Never again shall the Roman return to thee except in fear. Oh, what a fine land I leave to the enemy. He turned his back on the sunrise, leaving the keys of the Middle East